William's life had been meticulously shaped for one purpose: the crown. Every lesson, every public duty, every quiet counsel instilled in him the weighty responsibility tied to his royal destiny. So when Harry's whirlwind romance with Meghan Markle erupted, William's reaction wasn't envy, but a deep uneasiness. He noticed the breakneck pace, the intense focus on Meghan, and a subtle yet worrying change in his brother. This wasn't just love. It felt like an all-consuming fixation. Motivated by brotherly concern, William reached out to Harry, urging him to slow down and fully grasp the seriousness of what he was stepping into. It was a heartfelt plea between siblings, not a command from a future king. But Harry, perhaps, feeling misunderstood or carried away by his emotions, dismissed the warning. What was meant to close the distance between them instead drove a wedge deeper. The easy companionship, the shared memories, the bond forged in grief over their mother, all started to unravel. Harry was moving toward a future William saw as a sharp break from their shared values. Meghan Markle didn't just drift into royal life by chance. She entered the gilded walls with sharp intent and savvy. Ambition isn't wrong, but navigating centuries-old traditions requires subtle diplomacy and respect. Meghan appeared to bring her own set of rules. Early palace whispers spoke of tension rising, ignored dress codes, clashes with longtime staff, and a casual dismissal of royal protocols. This wasn't mere adjustment. It was a statement. The media, sensing a new story, eagerly captured every moment, and Meghan embraced the spotlight with equal zeal. The quiet, dutiful rhythm of royal life was quickly eclipsed by a new show, The Meghan Show. Harry, loyal as ever, stood firmly by her side, shielding her from mounting friction. But in doing so, he gradually distanced himself from his old world: family, duty, country. The prince who once thrived on public service now chased a different dream: fame on his own terms, paired with a redefined privacy. William watched with a grim inevitability. He understood the crown's demands and sacrifices. He doubted Meghan would ever bend to them. Harry believed he was following love. William feared he was being skillfully manipulated. The palace cracks widened fast. Centuries of tradition, painstakingly preserved customs, and the monarchy's very foundation seemed to strain under internal pressure. Meghan, initially welcomed as fresh air, was now seen by some as a disruptive storm. Stories of staff departures surfaced. Petty disputes over things like flower girl dresses and seating plans became common gossip. More than the quarrels, it was the palpable shift in atmosphere. The usually reserved monarchy felt vulnerable, as if under siege from within. Outwardly, the polished facade held smiles at events, formal portraits, happy announcements. But behind closed doors, murmurs grew louder. Meghan wasn't content to join quietly. She aimed to reshape the institution through branding, not service. Hollywood's flair had invaded Buckingham Palace, catching the establishment off guard. Then came the bombshell: the dramatic retreat from royal duties, marketed as a modern step forward, a mutual decision. But insiders knew the truth. Harry and Meghan wanted royal perks, prestige, global reach, security, without the corresponding obligations. They saw themselves not as royal workers, but as royal entrepreneurs. Queen Elizabeth, a figure of steady resolve, struggled to keep unity. William, aware of his future crown, was outraged, not only by the decision, but by its calculated public rollout. A website launch, a sudden announcement, a media storm painting the monarchy as outdated and oppressive. The message was clear. Harry and Meghan were out and determined to own their story. Across the ocean, their rebranding accelerated. The Oprah interview, lucrative Netflix deals, exclusive podcasts, each platform reinforced a crafted narrative. Harry and Meghan as victims of a rigid, callous, even biased system. But to those close to the family, the story seemed incomplete, even distorted. While the institution had flaws, the relentless public drama and repeated airing of grievances felt theatrical. amid this media frenzy, Harry himself seemed to fade. The once light-hearted, approachable prince, who engaged warmly with kids and joked with soldiers, became a secondary figure in his own saga. His appearances grew measured, his words guarded. Friends noticed a profound change, withdrawn, less playful, burdened. Some believed he longed for his old life. Others thought he had crossed a point of no return. William, meanwhile, pushed forward. The Crown's demands left no room for resentment. He maintained a rigorous schedule of duties and speeches. Yet behind Kensington Palace doors, his anger softened into something darker, deep disappointment. He hadn't lost Harry to tragedy or sacrifice, but to pride and a singular person. This wound wouldn't easily heal. Despite the hurt, William offered quiet olive branches, private invitations, subtle messages, but Harry's replies were scarce and brief. The once rock-solid trust had crumbled, perhaps irreparably. Too many intimate moments had been exposed publicly. Too many shared memories twisted for drama. There's a limit to what one brother can forgive when the other continually broadcasts their history. Meanwhile, Meghan stayed firmly center stage, expanding her influence. Each public move, each new deal, strengthened her growing empire. But the initial wave of sympathy began to wane, the crafted narrative showing cracks. Former colleagues spoke out. Palace aides, once silent, confirmed rumors. Old friends drifted away or fell silent. When someone's life experiences such a mass departure, questions arise, about character as much as chance. Her once polished image showed wear. Public opinion, while not flipping, shifted subtly. Fatigue set in. The victim story repeated. Too often, lost power. Tougher questions emerged. Why so many conflicts? So many allegations? And why, despite leaving royal life, did the spotlight never dim? The uncomfortable truth few voiced. Meghan never truly left the stage. She just changed costumes. And Harry, trying to protect her from royal burdens, had unknowingly given her a far bigger platform, one without tradition, discipline, or duty, a realm of pure personal influence. Behind public scenes and glossy media, countless untold stories unfolded in the shadows of royal homes, quiet talks, tearful confrontations, desperate mediations that never surfaced. Insiders hinted at near reconciliations that collapsed under entrenched grudges and inflexibility. The public story became a simplistic, almost caricatured version of a complex, painful human conflict, hiding the silent anguish of those caught in the crossfire. Each side, convinced of their own truth, dug in deeper, transforming a family feud into a public ideological war. For William, the pain went beyond the present crisis. It echoed their shared past. He carried the lasting image of walking beside Harry, two boys in oversized suits, mourning their mother. That profound loss was meant to forge an unbreakable bond, a shield against their unique pressures. Now, that bond felt fragile and fractured. William saw Harry not as a rebellious brother, but a man lost, adrift in choices with heavy historical weight he couldn't or wouldn't see. This was more than family drama. It was about the monarchy's very future. As years passed, public fascination didn't fade but shifted. Early sympathy for Harry and Meghan faced growing scrutiny. The victim narrative, once compelling, grew repetitive and opportunistic. Commentators and citizens questioned the constant public airing of grievances, especially from a couple craving privacy. The vast wealth and privilege they kept after stepping back contrasted sharply with their oppression claims. The narrative blurred truth and self-interest, leaving many wondering about true motives. The saga's impact rippled far beyond family. It forced the monarchy to confront charges of outdated customs and resistance to change. It split public opinion generationally. Younger people often sympathized with Harry and Meghan's independence quest. older generations lamented what they saw as disregard for duty and tradition. The crown's careful image was forever altered, revealing hidden vulnerabilities. Harry sought freedom from the royal spotlight, but found himself in a different public arena, one more exposed, less regulated. The pressure to create content, manage a brand, and control a story brought unseen burdens. The privacy he sought was undermined by the very media ventures meant to protect it. Was this freedom real, or just trading one gilded cage for another, one he helped build? The question lingered, a silent judgment on a prince who gained everything he wanted, but lost so much. For those hoping for reconciliation, signs were bleak. Distance hardened into silence. William carried the nation's weight. Harry guarded his brand. Between them lay a fractured bond once thought unbreakable. Future generations will debate who was right, who betrayed whom. But the deepest sorrow isn't headlines or broken careers. It's the family that couldn't weather the storm. Harry chose a life of his own making. Meghan traded tradition for relentless fame. And William, amid the wreckage, lost a brother, trying to save him. Some stories don't end with fairy tales. They end with broken crowns. Behind the public spectacle, there was also a profound cultural clash. Meghan, an American actress with a strong independent streak, brought values and expectations that sometimes conflicted with the centuries-old British royal traditions. Her outspoken nature and modern approach challenged an institution built on restraint and subtlety. This wasn't merely about personalities, but about two very different worlds colliding. One steeped in history, the other driven by contemporary, celebrity culture. For William, this collision symbolized a fracture not only within the family, but within the monarchy itself, threatening its delicate balance. The media frenzy only amplified these tensions. Tabloids and social media alike dissected every move, twisting small incidents into headline scandals. While Meghan faced intense scrutiny and criticism, Harry's protective instincts intensified, creating a feedback loop that further isolated the couple from the palace and from William. The brothers, once inseparable, found themselves on opposite sides of a growing media war. What began as private concerns became a public battlefield, each new story widening the rift and deepening wounds that might never fully heal. Financial independence was another battleground. Harry and Meghan's pursuit of self-sufficiency through lucrative deals was seen by many within the palace as a betrayal of royal tradition. The monarchy, funded largely by public money and steeped in centuries of ceremonial duty, viewed this commercial approach as antithetical to the ideal of service. To William and others, the couple's business ventures weren't just financial moves. They were a break with responsibility, a prioritization of personal gain over public duty, further fueling resentment behind closed doors. But beneath the headlines and heated debates, there was also genuine grief. Both brothers mourned the loss of their once close relationship, feeling the sting of words left unsaid and opportunities for reconciliation missed. Family dinners became tense or disappeared altogether. The silence between them spoke volumes, a testament to the emotional cost of their public and private struggles. This was no simple family feud. It was a tragedy unfolding in real time, with each side bearing wounds that would take years, if ever, to heal. William's role became increasingly complex. As the heir apparent, he had to embody stability and continuity for the nation while grappling with deeply personal pain. His public demeanor remained composed, but behind the scenes he wrestled with disappointment, anger, and a longing for the brother he once knew. The crown demanded sacrifice, not only in duty, but in personal happiness. And William bore this burden with a heavy heart, knowing that the fractures within his family threatened to overshadow his own future reign. As the story continues to unfold, the legacy of this family drama will reverberate through generations. The monarchy faces a crossroads: adapt and evolve or risk irrelevance in a rapidly changing world. Harry and Meghan's journey, marked by love, ambition, conflict, and heartbreak, has become a defining chapter in royal history. For William, Meghan, and Harry, the choices they make now will shape not only their personal destinies, but the future of an institution centuries in the making.